Hello, this is Larishka from Sinister Sage, and I get an awful lot of questions about Six Pack League, which we play a lot of in Sinister Sage, and from mostly rookie players to the custom games, but they are custom games, and they're rather competitive, even though you wouldn't think so. They're very competitive because most players in Six Pack are Champion League players that have become bored with the game and don't like where the meta for the game turned into paid, and don't enjoy the live server games. So that's the majority of the Six Pack players that I play with are skilled champions. So when you go and you choose your hanger for this, and you play in these super competitive games with even gear, some things work and some things don't. And it makes a lot of people really discouraged because there's a there's a high curve to the learning there. But if you can get it down pat, it really does make you a better player because you can apply whatever you learn in Six Pack right to live server. And the nice thing about it is no matter how many games you lose, you're not losing silver or honor points or anything else like that. You're not losing rank for your clan. All the games are even, like all of our bots are level 6 or under. All of the weapons are level 6 and under. There's no pilots allowed, so there's no stat boost, there's no special abilities pretty much. Just the standard old school robots. Modules aren't allowed. You can't have any equipped, no passives equipped on your robots. And the only active one you're allowed to have because it's the least damaging is Quantum Radar. And you can have Quantum Radar equipped, that's the one we prefer, but you can't use it. So if someone's running a Stalker, don't use it please. No Titans allowed, because Titans, we just don't want those to see those in a Six Pack. So there's a lot of information about the league. There's games run every week. There's tournaments. We have a lot of fun with it, to be honest. It's rather enjoyable. I keep coming back. I've been playing for 2 years. I came in, I was brought in when it was very popular. There were 17 different teams of 10 on the league, and it was very competitive. It was awesome. And it's fallen quite since then, but it's coming back. So everything comes in waves, just like everything else. So, but let's get back to what you can use and what you can't. So basically, here's your light robots, and you're allowed to use stuff that's discontinued, no longer in the game, like Schultz, and your boa. You can definitely use those, and they're kind of neat. We rarely see those, but they're neat when people use them. Here's all your light bots you are allowed to use. Now, if you use a Destrier on the field, be forewarned, it is probably going to die really quickly. It's fun to run, but it does not stand up against a level 6 Griffin. You can try, though. I'm never going to tell you not to try. Gepard is not bad for running beacons, but it has no shield. Out of the light bots in this section, which boa is not a light bot, so I don't know why it's in this section, but that's okay, it's a typo. Out of your light bots, the best one for the lights is the Gareth, because he can run beacons, he's very quick, and he has a shield, so he can block plasma. He can't block physical damage from the bullets from Pinata or pins, but he can definitely block plasma for a little bit while his shield is still active. Stalker, of course, can go invisible for a little bit. You can't hit it, and no one's allowed to use the eye, so you can't go and use Quantum Radar to see it. So while it's invisible, it can get beacons. It's rather useful. It again dies really quickly. It's fast though. A Magnum Stalker is deadly if used in the right hands. Jesse, of course, has a lot of firepower with 4 pinatas. It can be on Light Night. That's one of the ones that you can use. That's pretty good. Cossack, of course, jumps, and you can run a medium on it. A medium weapon. It's not too bad. The only light robot that has a heavy slot is your Schultz, and they are rare because they have been discontinued from the game. It's like the unicorn. You may see one, you may not. Okay, so that's the light robots. Let's move on. Here's your medium robots. Okay, so you have the addition of the Bolt. All new robots added to the War Robots game are medium, no matter how big they are. So there's a lot of medium robots. We only allow a certain few in 6-pack. So you're allowed to use Boa, Carnage, Rogatka, Patton, Golem, Vityaz, Fujin, Galahad, and Doc, plus the Bolt. And Griffin, too. Why isn't Griffin on the bottom part here? But yes, you're definitely allowed to use Griffin. Griffin's one of my favorites. So is Carnage. Carnage is a little bit pricey because it's 4,000 gold, I believe. 4,000 or 5,000? That's a lot of gold to spend on a robot that you're not going to use to earn more gold within a live server unless you're playing in Gold League or Diamond. Galahad is also awesome with that shield. He's just a bigger version of the Gareth. He is really nice to use. If you can win one from a silver chest, use it, because he's nice. Fujin's good with his shield. He bastions, you know, he gets that shield around him. He has 3 medium weapons. He's awesome to use. Your Rogaka is your beacon runner, and so is the Bolt. Rogakas are pretty tough, especially with plasma. I see Death has one listed here with Turians. Orkans, they're not so good anymore. They used to be really good, and then Pixonic nerfed them. So they're not meta even here in 6-pack League, which is a shame. But they serve a purpose. They're useful. You just have to combine them with something else. I'll talk more about weapon combinations later in the video. So anyway, here's your medium robots that are allowed. Okay, now let's move on to the heavies. So here's your heavy robots. And there's some all-time favorites in here. Everybody has a favorite in the heavy section. My favorite heavy is the Leo, because I love using those. They are awesome. Natasha's good. Rajan's good. Rajan usually is used for your sniper because once you bastion and you get that 30% weapon damage increase, you can't move. So basically you're holding in place. So as a sniper, he's awesome. He's really slow. You get him to a beacon, you put him there, you make him sit there until he dies. With thunders, people have to get right up into your shield and shoot you. It's not advisable for them because thunders will kill them. So he's useful, but he's slow. I would tell you, if you put a Rajan in your hangar, please don't put more than one, and don't put camping bots in your hangar. More than one. Try to stick to that golden rule. If you're going to use mid-range or long-range, try to stick to only one per hangar and put stuff that you can go capture beacons with, because all 6-pack League games are domination mode and they move quite fast. You are never just sitting there doing nothing trying to shoot at people. You're always trying to get beacons back from the opposing team. So when you put in a camping bot, you are using a bot with a disadvantage against maybe, let's say, a Griffin. If you were in Fury, you are disadvantaged against a Griffin because they are faster and they will take the beacon and they can jump. The same thing with the Rajan. And if you put a Rajan on the field and you put a Gepard on the field, the Gepard is going to cap all the beacons. And yeah, you're going to shoot it with the Trebuchet. If you hit it, you're going to kill it. But that's if you hit it. So the good players use cover very wisely. And that's another key rule to remember in 6-pack. Use cover and watch your ammo. Don't jump out at people on Griffins and be reloading. Don't do what I do. That's bad. But anyway, your heavy list is the Lancelot. Now, the Lancelot is excellent because you can build it in the workshop. It's the biggest shielded robot, right? It has 2 medium weapon slots and a huge shield on it. And then it has a heavy on the top. And the heavy you can put a Ansel on or another heavy weapon, like a Thunder. Now, the thing with the Lancelot is, if you put the Ansel on it, which is a shield, on your Lancelot and you give it a shield and it's movable, there are all kinds of restrictions on the Lancelot. You can only use 1 per hanger on certain nights to fight with, and other nights you can't use it at all. You have to take that Ansel off of it because it just makes it too powerful for us. Sad to say that it's too powerful because you can't run it in the higher leagues in the game. You're at a disadvantage, but in 6-pack it's powerful. So we try to limit that to 1 per hanger. Butch is an excellent camping bot. With 4 trebuchets, it's nasty. With 4 tridents, it's nasty. Tridents are super powerful. They are also another weapon that is limited in 6-pack. You may come into tournaments and see that, hey, Trident has been limited to maybe 1 bot, or not at all. It just depends. Rhino is excellent. Rhino has 2 light weapons on either side that you can constantly shoot with. When the shield is up and you're charging forward, you can only go straight, but you can't use the medium weapons in the front. When you put the shield down, you can use the 2 medium weapons on the top. So basically, it's like a shielded griffin, but it can only run straight and it can't jump. It's an awesome bot, but with that turning thing and maneuverability, it's at a disadvantage at times unless you're a really good pilot. And I've seen pilots that have made them work, that they're fantastic and they're very formidable. And you get worried about them when you see them on the field, especially when they have a good teammate and the teammate follows after them with a carnage or something. You almost can't break up the duo when they do that. So you just have to watch. But and then you have Fury. Fury is another bot that we may limit, may not. It just depends. You have to read the rules because they are powerful. 3 Zeus, 3 Trident, 3 Trebuchet. It's a strong bot. It's also a camping bot. Trebuchet is long range. Trident is like right in the middle with Zeus mid-range. So just read the rules when you join a fight night. Make sure that you don't have restrictions on the Lancelot, the Fury, or a Trident, or the Ansel, just depending. Griffin is your most versatile. It can cap beacons, you can brawl with it, you can do basically whatever you want with it. I mean, you could put mullets on it and be a sniper. You can put Gust and Orkin on it and be a revamped Death Button Griffin again. Because the original Death Button Griffin was Orkin and Pinata. So it just depends. The Griffin's awesome. You can jump in people's shields with it. Leo is one of my favorites. I like to use a lot of those. They have a lot of health. They're hard to kill. They're slow, but they're very useful in 6-pack. They're also cheap. So, and then you have Natasha and Rajan, since I already talked about those. Alright, so here's all the heavy bots. There's List. There's List in Sinister Sage. There's List in the 6-pack server. You can go anywhere and look and see the list. It's posted everywhere what weapons you can and can't use. The Gust is the newest addition to 6-pack because it was nerfed so bad. So it's good for us to play with, and it works quite well in our games, and we enjoy using it. If you go through the list of light weapons, there's Norcon, Pinata, Punisher, Molot, Aphid, Gecko, Magnum, Spiral, Pin. These are all allowable. If you don't see the picture charts, there's word charts everywhere list. So we get into rockets, we get into homing missiles, we get into plasma weapons. You have all different kinds here. It just depends what night we're running. There could be a light night going, which is all light bots, and you can't put in any other class. Light bots, that's kind of fun. Different things work on different nights. There's a medium night, there's a heavy night. We just had a sniper night recently where you couldn't use any weapon that was below 500 meters, and that was rather interesting. There was a lot of tridents. It was an interesting game. So there's your light weapons. Here's your medium weapons. ECU is interesting because it can be a medium weapon or it can be a light weapon. It just depends on the robot build and where Pixonic will let you put it. I find ECUs extremely versatile, and I use them a lot in my hangers because I like using that shield. As long as you have, I just use one sometimes because it works. Here's your heavy weapons. There's not that many of them. You have Ansel, Trebuchet, Zenit, Kongde, Thunder, Nashorn, Trident, Zeus. There's enough variety to do things with. Some, like I've said, work much better than others. You have a lot of sniping weapons in the heavy, not a lot of brawling. Your only brawling weapon per se is the Thunder in the heavy section. Zeus maybe would be your next one for mid-range. As long as you lock on to somebody, because it does have a lock on, and you shoot them, it won't miss. So that's kind of awesome right there. Zenit is like Noricom. It's not that good for 6-pack because you are sitting in the back shooting people. For aerial support, it's funny and it annoys the heck out of people. They will come after you from across the field. But at getting beacon wise, it puts your team at a disadvantage. So it's fun to play, and on certain nights it's great, and other nights it's, oh my god, why did I put that in my hanger kind of thing. So now let's go and look. So there's the 6-pack section in Sage, and then there's an entire server for this. The 6-pack league. Greetings. See, you come in the door, you tell them if you're iOS or Android, and there's the new player guide. They tell you the best ways to join, what you should do, league rules. There's slightly different rules than Fight Night than there are for tournaments. Fight Nights are always much more lax than the actual tournament. Tournament they're really strict on. So if you're going to run tournaments with us, please be aware of the rules are very strict. They don't bend them for people. We have 6-pack clans. Our official clan is Rockwelder's Dark Core clan, and he's using the 6-pack hangers on live server, and they only use 6-pack legal gear. And they stay in there, nothing meta, just what we allow to play the games, and they're running live server. Looks like it's a lot of fun, to be honest. Sergeant runs a clan for 6-pack people. Tet Corp, it's a Gold League clan. And then there's another 6-pack clan. Molasses and Moody have one, and it's not very active, mind you, but if you need a place to put your account and you don't play it very often, maybe it's an alternate or so, there's a place for you. They're very lax, they don't care. We're here to have fun, and we make it possible for you to be happy and have fun and hang out with buddies, and that's our main goal right there. So there's a lot of places to be. See, there's news. We just had a tournament, which was awesome. General chat, there's an iOS section, you have your fight nights, there's EU fight nights, there's the comms, there's the 6-pack league. There's no tournament on right now, but there's games, usually US games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 9 p.m. Eastern is when they usually start. You can pretty much find games almost every day of the week. The weekdays, like Wednesday or Tuesday or Monday, if you ask, normally people will come and join. So that's what we're looking at there. There's YouTube videos. There's a 6-pack league server is a big server. I will put the link in the bottom of the description in case you want to check it out or not. Anyway, moving on and opening up more robots. I will show you my hanger, the one that I just used in a tournament. I'll talk to you about what works and what doesn't. Kind of long-winded here, but trying to go over all the basics, and I'm sure I'll forget something and then be like, why didn't I talk about that? But just bear with me. Okay, so here is my 6-pack hanger that I used that was really good. If you notice, I'm mostly using griffins because they are the most versatile bots. They can jump, you can get into places, you can corner shoot with them. They have a decent amount of firepower with 2 lights and 2 mediums. So let's talk about my favorite one before we do anything else, which is this green one here. And remember about the paints, as long as the paint isn't legendary and doesn't give you a stat boost, it's allowed. If there's a legendary version of it that gives you a stat boost, please don't use that paint, because you'll make people cranky. We don't like cranky people. We want you to be happy and perky and have fun. So there's no point. So anyway, going back into here and looking at this hanger, you'll see I do not have a Titan in the background because we don't use Titans. Going into the modules, no modules. Only quantum radar selected for your active. Passives, none. Nada. Don't equip them, please. So, looking at this is a Punisher Griffin. Yes, machine gun. 500 meter range. It works best at 300 meters. Because it has a bullet spread and it has accelerated fire. The more you shoot at somebody, the more toward the end of the clip, it speeds up, goes faster, shoots more bullets out, does more damage. So anyway, this is one of my favorites, this Griffin. Sometimes I will run up to 11 Punishers in my 6-pack hanger. I can have 2 of these in a Fujin because I really, really like them. I've run Leos with it too. So getting ahead of myself here, why is this good on the battlefield? Because up close it does more damage. You can jump at people, jump out at people, shoot them. It's excellent. As support, which is what I mainly use it for, it is excellent. You can go and you can break up shields for people. Like let's say your buddy is in a RDB Griffin and he cannot get rid of this Carnage shield. He only takes a little dent out of it, the shield heals. He's stuck. He's busy shooting at something, wasting his ammo and his missiles, and he can't shoot it or get that shield down. And that's where you come in as a supportive player and a bot. You come and strip the shield is gone, he can do damage. If you work with your teammates like that, you'll be far more effective, your damage will be higher, everyone will be happy. And that's what we try to do when you play in 6-pack. Try to find a teammate, a buddy, work with them in unison, you'll be very effective. Sometimes it's not about the individual, but how well you work with others. Okay, so I like to strip shields with this. He's good for corner shooting. I just like this, but moving on. Here is a more modern version of a Death Button Griffin. I used to have them all Death Button, and then they nerfed the organs, so the organs are not as good anymore. They need to reload before you can go and do as much damage with them. So instead of you being able to jump out and kill somebody in one hit, in one salvo of rounds, you have to go and reload and come back. Maybe almost 3 times now instead of it just being once. So he's no longer a Death Button Griffin per se. I changed him around and added Gust. This is also one of those jump out, shoot somebody, run away, and hide again. So it works really good. Instead of being Orkin and Pinata, he's Orkin and Gust. Gust has a 500 meter range, but just like with the Punisher machine guns, shotguns have a much better damage ratio when they are closer. So the closer you are, the better. For the missiles, like the Orkins or missiles, they have splash, so you can actually shoot a little bit if you see somebody's hitbox and they're just sticking out from behind a corner and trying to corner shoot you. These weapons will go and you can shoot them and do damage to them. It's called splash damage. Splash damage is very effective. Try to use it can. There's other weapons that will do it, not all. Carnage. Carnage is a favorite too. Let's skip him and come back to him and go to the RDB Griffin, which is Russian Death Button Griffin, because he has Tulumbus, which are medium, and pins. Now he can be 500 meters, he's mid-range, and it doesn't matter how far away he is, as long as he's within 500 meters, he will do the same amount of damage as if he was 200. He's not as effective at 200, but he will, because his rockets don't lose any firepower damage closer up or farther away. There's none of that spread that machine guns or shotguns have. So he's very effective, especially at mid-range. If you find a pilot that can go and use cover very effectively, they are pains when they get into their RDB. I don't know what else to say about that other than the use of splash is very effective. I mean, you can shoot people from around corners. Working with teammates is excellent. And there's a lot of bots that you can put pins and Tulumbus on. It works on live server too. Anything that I tell you here and what works in our custom games will definitely work in live server. I have 9 accounts. I play from champion all the way down to private, so I definitely know. My favorite league is actually gold and diamond, so these are very effective in that league. You have to work a tad bit, but you can still hold your... Alright, this Leo, what else can I say about it? The Zeus is excellent on the Leo with the Magnums because they're both plasma energy. Works very nice. Even though there is a lock-on for the Zeus, it still works. Plasma has 300, the Magnums have 350 meter range, the Zeus, I believe, has 500. Does it have 500? 600. 600. So it still works really well. I don't remember if there is... Shows its best amount at medium range. Okay, so the closer you are, the more damage it does do. So I'm guessing at 300 meters it would do the maximum amount of damage you see there, which is over 9,000 HP that it would take away. It also has a lock-on, so I mean it's perfect to pair with the Magnums because they're 350 meter too and they never stop firing. It's a very good robot build, very effective, very tough to kill because the Leo has a lot of health, 168,000 HP, so it's tough to kill. And with this you can go right through Fujin's and Carnage's shields. You can melt Griffins. It's very effective. So moving on to the Carnage. Here's the Carnage, and the Carnage has 2 heavies. It's one of the more mobile bots because you have that ability that makes you speed up, which is great. You can run Zeus on it, Thunder. Most people run Thunder. I like running Zeus on it, but Zeus are premium weapons because you have to buy them. So I run a lot of silver chests. I will keep spinning silver chests to see if I can get premium gear so I don't have to buy it. There's a lot of gear in the silver chest that you can use, and any gold I don't have to spend is a plus for me. So I like using the Zeus. There's other things you could use that are 6-pack legal. We went over the list at the beginning of this video, but I have almost all of it. Ansel. Being a support bot, you could put 2 Ansels on it even though it has an Ansel shield. Putting an Ansel on it would just increase it because it's 62,000 every time you put a level 6 Ansel on something. 62,000 more HP. Now that only works against physical weapons, weapons that are not plasma, so it would be effective against Kongay and Nashorn, Trident, Thunders. Not so much against the Trebuchet we just saw. Yeah. Okay, so going back. Now this hanger that I used, the Griffins, the Carnage, the Leo, was very effective. Griffins are really cheap to get in War Robots. They're like 1.7 million, I believe. They come at level 5. It's decent. I mean, you don't really have to level it up that much. It's not like some of the other robots. Leo is the same way. I believe Leo comes with 3 pins or 3 pinatas and a thunder. That's decent. You don't even have to change it if you don't want to. You could run 5 Leos. No one would say anything to you. They may grouch that you're hard to kill, but other than that, I think they'll let it go. So now if we go, there are some things that we should talk about and things that people don't, it's not, how should I say it? When people start 6-pack league, they're like, I have this Rajin sitting in storage, I have this Fury, I have this Butch, and I have all these long-range weapons. I am coming to 6-pack league to be a sniper. I am coming to be a mid-range camper. And I'm gonna get top damage and I'm gonna be really happy. And the truth of the fact is that reality is if you run weird builds like that, they're not weird, but I mean, more than one robot like that per hangar, you're at a severe disadvantage because most people are running heavy damage robots with heavy damage output and very mobile. So when you put your Rajin in that's bastioned and is sniping with trebuchet, and most people can dodge that trebuchet shot if they're looking for it, you are not going to do very well. You're not going to get very many beacons, and you're not going to do very much damage. You're going to be frustrated, very frustrated. So I'm not saying don't put it in, but I'm just saying be forewarned that you will get very frustrated if that's all you're going to run. So, because I've seen many people do it, and then they gripe about it later. The same thing with GI patents with Noricoms on them. It's a fun build. Aerial support is awesome, but it's not that effective. GI patent is not that fast of a bot, and the Noricoms are not that easy to aim with. So basically you're just throwing rocks at people and hoping they die. If they have low HP, yes they will, but other than that, you are a sitting duck. Spiral patent is annoying. If you find people on the battlefield you don't like and you want to shoot them with spirals, be my guest, but it's in that same category of a very annoying but not very effective. Hydras. Yes. Hydras are in that same category too with spirals. People will come for you across the field and ignore the beacon to come and kill you because you're annoying. Now, others get extreme satisfaction out of that, and some other people don't. So if you don't want to be chased and you don't mind being a low damage, run the Hydra, run the spiral, have fun. That's the most point, is to have fun. If that bothers you, don't run those builds. Run something that does damage, like Punishers. Punishers is your cheap alternative. Punishers and RDBs. Columbus and Pins. Bolt is the newest edition. It's a little bit pricey. I think it's 2,500 gold. I'm not sure. Your most expensive weapon for it is the Gust, because they are expensive to put on. I think they're 2,000 a piece. So I try to win them. Some people have them lying around, never used them. Other people leveled them up. Obviously, you'll see gear on here that's higher than level 6. I didn't have everything 6-pack ready. I used what I have to show you, just to remember what I wanted to talk about, so I didn't lose my place. So please forgive me for having a level 7 Gust on my Bolt, which I couldn't use anyway because this is just weird ranges. 500, 350, and 800? Is it 800 or is it 1100? It's 1100. No, it would not work. But a laser bolt, which is the geckos, is extremely effective and really annoying. And people will come and kill you. On light night, it's very effective. Other nights, they're chasing you because you're a laser toy. But it's really fun. You can have a blast running a laser bolt or a laser Jeopard. They're fun to run. They really are. Aphid, I love running aphids on these. You only get one dash on this bot, so you have to use it wisely. So I'm usually hiding behind cover, and aphids are wonderful for it, because that's what I put on. You could also put spirals on it. Spirals work too. Go Going back to the Griffin, one of my favorite builds that's not as effective as it used to be is the aphids with the Orkin, which is called a Stuka Griffin, because you can hide behind something, jump up, shoot over the obstacle with your aphid, and the missiles will arc up and come straight down, which is their nature. And you can corner shoot them with the splash damage with the Orkin, which is awesome. That is really effective and a lot of fun. I love doing that. That was one of my more favorite builds until they nerfed the Orkin. I don't use it as much now. Moving to this other build in this hangar, here is your Lancelot, and it has an Ansel on the top of it, so it's called an Ancelot. If you add plasmas to it, to Rans, it is extremely effective and brutal, and that's why it is limited in most of the 6-pack games or told it cannot join. And it also has legendary paint that you can't use, like Reaper, because it gives you the 5% health bonus. So, just be forewarned if you use an Ancelot in your hangar that it may be limited. Take the Ansel off and put something else on. They may not say anything. It just depends what night it is that we're running. But that is your most effective and strongest bot in 6-pack. It's very hard to kill because of that front shield and the speed boost. Okay, moving on. Most tournament hangars will have a Lancelot in it. Going here, Fury, Butch. Basically, your long-range snipers. Nobody really runs Thunders on them. You could run a Thunder with an Ansel, be a Pothead Fury. I have seen it, but very rare. I don't know how effective it is. I run all Zeus on my Fury. I put a Trebuchet and a Trident on just to remember that you can run it. Those are the 3 most popular builds for a Fury, is Zeus, Trebuchet, and Trident. Trident is 650 meters with splash damage. The Trebuchet is energy, and it shoots really far. I think it's 1100 meters, like the Gecko. Let me check. Yep. And the Zeus is 600 meters. We already went over that. Your energy weapon. Lightning bolts at people. I love the Zeus. And then you have the Rhino. The most popular build for the Rhino is Plasma, Taran, and Magnum, because Magnum never stops firing, and even when you can't use your medium weapons because the shield is up, you can use your Magnum and it never stops firing. Another really good build for the Rhino is Gust and Orkin. Or you could do Gust and Taran. Try anything that works for you. It may be very effective. If you use the Gust and Orkin combo, I would tell you that is a super close-up range brawling weapon within 100 meters. And you don't really have a chance to get away. So just be careful with that and be forewarned. I've seen aphids used. Sometimes I'll even run an ECU on my Rhino. It's effective. It works. You just have to be careful. Remember, when that shield's up in the front, the nose is up, and you're running forward, you can't turn. So you just have to be aware of that. It's a good counter to Plasma. Talked about that hangar. Last hangar, Gareth, the most fantastic little beacon runner. Here's a Plasma Gareth. You can run Punishers on them. You can run Columbus on them, have an RDB. You could run Orkins on it. It has a medium slot. It has a Magnum. It has a light slot. So it's basically, it's half of a Griffin. It's really fast. It's 58 kilometers per hour. So, you know, it's fast. It's one of the faster little robots. You can get places. That would be your beacon capper. It doesn't have a lot of health, only 55,000. So you have to try to make sure that you don't get hit too much. But that's a favorite for many people. You have your Leo. This is another Leo that's really good with the aphids on it. They call it a pothead Leo because it has the Ansel on top of it. And your homing missile with the aphid is it will go and arc straight up into the air and slam down on your opponent. So you have to make sure you are not too close to a wall because you'll just shoot the wall in front of you. You have to be away from any front-facing obstacle. It's very effective though. Just kind of slow. If you run into anything else that has an Ansel on it, or a shield like a Carnage or a Fujin, you may have trouble, so you have to work with a teammate. It's still effective. Leos can run Punishers or Molots. A Molot Leo is very effective too, just as a Molot Griffin. Natasha is another really good bot. There are times when I will run a full hangar, all 5 robots of just Natashas, and we call them Natasha Shields when they have a double ECU and 2 Ansels on top. It's a boring build to play because all you do is march to a beacon and stand there and try to hold your chicken wing sides up to the enemy and hope that you don't die that quick. They're hard to kill. When you put 2 Ansels on them, that's 62,000 per Ansel of health, and then you add the ECU shields to it. Makes them really tough to kill. I mean, it ties people's time up trying to kill it, and meanwhile you're capping a beacon. You can use it as a supportive bot and shield your teammates, which is what I do, and they become much more effective. That's the better way to play it. I ended up putting a Zeus on my Natashas instead of double Ansels, and a Magnum. It is a nasty build. Very effective. They're hard to kill, and then I'm shooting you. So I was getting damage too. It actually works really nice. It's surprising how nice it works. So if you use it like that, it works pretty great. Fujin. Fujin is your bot. It's a fast little spider. It goes and moves to beacons, but once you bastion, put up your turrets and you get that sentry mode, which has the shield. You get that energy shield that protects you from other bullets. You can't move, so make sure that you're in a good place. You want to make sure you hide away from plasma, anything that can go through. So stay away from magnums or Tyrans or anything that has a trebuchet. Try not to stand out in the open with that. But it's a good little sniper if you want to put Molots on it. Molot T, which is 800 meters. Again, Molots, just like Punishers, work better up close. 500 meter range is optimum for them. So they don't have a big clip, so you just have to keep that in mind. They're very annoying, and if you know how to play them, you can kill people with them quite easily. But Fujin with Tyrans is effective as a brawler. Orkans as a brawler again, but not quite, because you can't really get out of the situation as fast with the Orkans. Can't move away, so the Orkans kind of make it. That used to be a meta build, and it's not anymore in 6-pack. So I would suggest Punishers. Molots are a little bit not as good as Punishers, but still very good, especially if you know how to use them. Hydra is annoying, but it's one of those builds where you're not going to do very much with it. And of course, a Plasma Griffin. I put it in there so I wouldn't forget to talk about it. It is one of your main builds. It's very effective. It's deadly. You have 350 meter range. The Magnums never stop firing. It's on a Griffin. It can jump. It can fall back down behind cover. Very tactical, very strategic. It's a good bot to use. You should have a Plasma Griffin if you can afford it, because it's expensive, because it costs gold, the weapons. But other than that, I think I pretty much covered everything, even though I'm long-winded. I'm sure there are parts of 6-pack I did not cover. And but it gives you a good rundown of all the bots, weapons, and things you can use, and what to do and what not to do, and how to just go and have fun, and basically a rundown on the equipment. I don't know what other to say other than that, other than have a lovely evening and have a good night. Alright, bye.